Say a big thanks to Auntie Isla, Mum's sister, who is here, given that Auntie Heather couldn't make it from Australia. So it's great to see you here, Auntie Isla. A number of apologies. First of all, Vicky, my wife, she has a franchise called Driving Miss Daisy. She can't get stuff on the weekend. She's now christened it Driving Me Crazy. Mum actually has two cousins, and they actually sent their apologies, Dodie Dobeck and Kathy McClegg. Some friends of mine, Wayne Holland, who you know because he was Harry Holland's son, Bob Thayer, Grant Smith and Peter Curtis. There's a few lambs that have sent their apologies, Rosie, Kevin, Brian and Peter, Barbara Crozier, Nick Grant, Terrell McDonald, Noeline and Tim Cyril, Ray and Shirley Mann, Chrissy McDowell, Auntie Mary McLeod, and also Elaine and Jennifer. And finally, the National Party have apologised because they haven't delivered Mum's card from the Queen. Despite Carl going in about 5 years ago, doing all the right applications, and so maybe Jacinta will finally get it done. So let's have a look at the odds of reaching 100 when you were born in 1917. And that was just before the Spanish flu. The odds were less than 1 in 100. I have an old colleague in the stats department, so I gave him a call, and he said roughly we'd be probably 5 or 6 in 1,000. In Southland, in 1917, because they never did actual stats, they only did census every 4 to 5 years, he thought there would be probably maybe 300 births that year. So maybe a couple or 3 of those people would return 100. And that's probably why we're all said, because we've all said, have you ever been to 100th birthday? And none of us have. So they are the odds. Do you know what the odds of the little ones, under 20, of reaching 100? 1 in 4. 25%. So that's going to be common, isn't it? So how do you get to 100? Well, I don't know, but this is the things that I put down. Probably the most important is active support from family, friends, the medical fraternity and the local community. I think that. Second, genetics, bit of luck by the grace of God. And thirdly, having a will to get there. So let's start with the first one of just support of family and friends and local community. So I personally have to say a great thank you to Margaret and Jimmy. Without them coming out and living with Mum in her place, Wyndham Valley in Waikaka, I think it would have been a bit more difficult. Obviously, family and friends are important, and I know because I run Mum every day. Some of the conversations aren't long. I know that you're there, Brian. I've been there when some of you and so forth have been there. David and Darren are there virtually every Sunday after church. That's important. It's mental stimulation. Because Mum has done a wee stint in a rest home, and I know having Rangaree's Day, you know, it's not the most stimulating environment that one could actually be in. So I thank, well, Mum thanks each and one of you have actually been part of that. Genetics. Now over there on that board, you'll have ended up seeing a very vibrant looking Scotchman. That's her great-grandfather, George and Anna McLeod. Now they actually come out to Invercargill.
That's great.
Great. In about 1855. And when you look at down the thing, this one lady reached 93, which isn't a bad when you're actually born, you know, and so forth in the mid, you might say, 1800s. George McLeod was a builder and went to Invercargill. He was a piper to the Duke of Sunderland, which is in the north of Scotland. Very hard worker. He built, or part of building, the old water tower in Christchurch, in Invercargill. And you'll see a wee envelope, if you go and have a look there, of his wife Anne holding. Now, we don't know whether it's actually the envelope, but her mother gave her an envelope, and inside she said, I'm going to give you the most precious, valuable thing I have. Do you know what it was? A recipe for whiskey. So, he ended up building that still, and behind they ended up bringing out he owned 4 farms and had a successful builders. So half the McLeods here are trying to find the farm to see where the still is, and the other half are trying to find the recipe for the whiskey. Mum's other side was Polish, and I didn't really know anything about that lot until I was living in Taranaki, and I'm really appreciative that Vicky was there, because I went to a do, and this strange lady came up to me and she said, you look like a Beliski. Well, she might as well told me her own age, because I had no idea what she was talking about. Went home, rung Mum. She said, oh yes, your great-great-mother was a Beliski from Taranaki. Now, in Taranaki is a bit like some parts of the West Coast. Unless you were born there 1,000 years ago, nobody wants to know. If I had known then that they had been up there in the about 1880, I'd have been accepted as one of the Taranaki people. But part of that, so I had a look at the relatives, and Mum's grandfather, Nikolai Dobek, I think arrived in Akaroa in 1873. And early this month they had a celebration in Christchurch of where the Polish Speaker of the House was there, and also the Polish ambassador. So the letter from the Polish ambassador come from, so forth. The Polish people were brought out to do 3 things. Drain marshes, marshlands in Christchurch, they drain. Build bridges and labouring. But just part of that, I ended up saying to the Speaker of the House of Poland, thanking her for actually coming out to their celebration. And she said, oh no, I said, I didn't even know, Poles knew where New Zealand was. She said, oh no, I'm not coming out for that. She said, I come out here for another celebration. As we all know, in the Second World War in 1939, the Nazis rolled through Poland. And there was 200 to 300 children that they had no parents, and the Polish government wanted to send them somewhere. They had a boat. So what she said, they appealed to all the countries. New Zealand was the only country who took them. So each day you learn something new. So she said that that's why she was that happy. So let's look at the third thing, the will to actually get there. Well, Mum, you made it. I have to say, watching Mum actually get to 100 is a bit like watching a cricket match and somebody trying to make their first maiden 100th century. And I truly now understand what the nervous 90s and so forth are all about. And I have to say, you've avoided some LBW decisions, particularly starting with Dad and Jeffrey passing away, breaking a leg at 97, breaking your pelvis this year, dashing your head and your leg this year, getting the flu this year, but you made it, and that's the great thing. But as Jimmy and I started putting there was a few funny things that actually we start trying to put stuff together, and particularly the board over there, so I want to share with you. first of all, as Jimmy said before, Mum's the first person living in Wendon Valley to get to 100. She's the third we know of in Waikaka to get to 100. The other two were Tom Bennett and Jim Gardine.
Tom Barrett.
Sorry?
Tom Barrett.
Tom Barrett. Photos going through, and I know he's here somewhere. John Clement. John. Jimmy found a photo of you and he said, I'm never showing this to John, ever. But I will. It's a lovely one of you, John. You're actually standing with your two sisters, Janice and Raywin. You're about 2. You've got a wee black bow tie, lovely white jersey, and it looks like bloomers, white bloomers. So Jimmy didn't tell you. Another question that actually 2 people asked me was Wayne Holland and Bob Thayer. What do you get somebody when they're 100? And I bet some of you actually thought the same thing. So after quite a while, the only thing that they could come up with, you're going to give them instant gratification. The 2 things they come up with, chocolates and hearing aid batteries. So sort of finally, Mum, what else was happening when you were born in 1917? I went down to the Gore Library and found 3 things. 1, the government, after Mum was born, brought in 6 o'clock closing, and the remit said it'll only last for 5 years. It lasted 50. Typical, who would trust the government? The second was science. Lord Rutherford split the atom, which goes to prove that actually technology and science is always progressive and going ahead. The third, however, was the President of the United States, Woodrow Wilson, said that he would bar all Asian immigrants into America. Well, Donald Trump hasn't thought of anything new, has he? So finally, a couple of things, and these are really on behalf of Mum. Happy birthday to her niece Kerry. Now Kerry's only got 56 more years to go before she can have a day like that. The second, she really wants to, she can now pass the 100th baton on to Bob Henderson. So I'd like everybody to charge a glass and wish Bob good health as he trundles along to 100. To Bob. So if anybody wants to say something, as Jimmy said, now's an opportunity and then we'll cut the cake.